Welcome back, everybody, to the Amazon EU Masters. My name is Munchballs, joined by Dagda once again. So head towards our second game. But first, we need to break down what just happened here, because Dagda, we've witnessed the murder. Vitality B just eradicated Aggro Rogue once we got to the mid game.
Yeah, and we kind of looked at it at the start. It was like, look, if you end up getting ahead here as Vitality B, it's going to go all well and good. But I was a little bit nervous when I saw this play happen, because it's like, well, Aggro Rogue getting off to a pretty nice start. They pick up these 3 quick kills with having the Nautilus roam up to try and find this fight. I was like, okay, as long as you can try and play this slow, make sure that you're able to get to a point where you can set up properly for team fights, you're going to be fine. But as the game started to go on, you could see Skeens, Tsiperakos, Ratro finding a bunch of these picks. You know, you get Shigenda, who's really starting to ramp up. Then it becomes a major issue where they can play the map, they can find these picks, and you just have no one who can deal with the Gwen.
Yeah, it felt like off of that first play, Vitality felt a little disjointed. Aggro Rogue felt like they were playing as a unit, right? It was all team playing that first one. But then the longer the game went on, the less it felt that was the case. Like the map control seemed to fade for Aggro Rogue, and then we saw Vitality just starting to steamroll, right? Every single fight. I mean, that fight around Baron, where Shigenda basically just 1v4ing while the rest of the team deals with the Baron. It's just beautiful to see.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can see it here, right? Like, once Vitality got the lead, they were so good at making sure that they found these ways to never let Aggro Rogue set up properly to try and play the style that they want, right? Like, looking for a quick pick here onto Gravel, they kill off the jungler, and then it becomes about these, like, separated skirmishes where Vitality B are just able to play so much better through that. You're finding movements here for Tsiperakos to work with. Jessica isn't being threatened until the end of the fight by the massive MF bullet time, and as well going through Shigenda. Like, you could see the Hollowed Mist just doing so much work when it came to these fights, because he ignores the Ornn horn, he ignores the damage from the Misfortune as well, and you really don't want to be walking in face first as a Viego to Gwen at any point in time.
It felt like the pieces were there for Aggro Rogue, right? To do this big bullet time over everyone, win the fight through that way. We almost saw it a couple of times, but then once you got into the really late game, we saw it all out from LeBlanc that just hit Olaf and Gwen. Like, it just doesn't do anything at that point in the game. So felt a little unfortunate for them. And it felt like as Vitality continued to snowball, it just got further and further away from Aggro Rogue. It felt like they started to get to this point where they were just getting picked off in the jungle, just getting picked off one by one, and slowly but surely falling out of the game.
Yeah, and again, like, I just want to take note of like how messy the setup here is for Aggro Rogue. Like, you haven't really got the Ornn and the Volibear in the front line being that engaged. So like, it's kind of a very quick like 1-2 kind of combo you're looking for. Like with the Ornn going over the top, then you've got like Beans to follow up, you've got the Volibear to try and follow up as well. It's about trying to like play around this zone control for your team, but when you've got like Skeens who's been able to kind of find a lot of these flanks, Tsiperakos who's using the Ahri to avoid a lot of that damage, and even find these picks where they're separating out the teams and making these skirmishes happen, you just never get that opportunity. And Vitality B, I mean, look, they may not be the top LFL representative, but taking down the Ultra League at #1 is going to feel pretty good for the French right now.
Yeah, it certainly does, especially if you're playing Gwen up in that top side. Look at the damage coming up through. But also, I think that Golgraph, perfect representation of what we were talking about, right? Good start to the game for Aggro Rogue, but once we got to the mid game, felt like Vitality B, but just slowly but surely inched their way forward.
And I think a lot of that came down to just their objective control as well, right? You're looking at like how well Skeens was. You've got like the first 2 dragons. Well, sorry, the first dragon that went their way. Then they got the 2 heralds, and they come back and go, oh yeah, dragons are nice again. And it just felt like there was just no way for Aggro Rogue to try and get themselves in control. Like, the Gwen takes over side lane, she then makes sure that's fully pushed. If you're not able to get to these objectives first, then it's just a bit unfortunate for Aggro Rogue. I mean, not exactly the first step that they're hoping for in the Amazon EU Masters.
Yeah, and the real scary thing for a lot of people that aren't French in the audience today is that that's like 3rd or 4th best French team in the tournament. We've got 2 LFL teams that are a higher seed that didn't even have to go through play-in. So LFL fans everywhere feeling real good after game #1 of our tournament. Let's start talking about the second game, though, because we have, and I apologize, I'm a northerner from England. I'm not that great at trying to do foreign words, but I'll do my best. We've got Crvena Zvezda versus Eintracht Spandau, which I think the 2 hardest names to pronounce right up against each other on day #1. But I'm excited to see how these guys are going to interact, because we've got some aggressive players in this game.
Yeah, especially when you look at this Crvena Zvezda lineup. Like, a DoubleAiM used to be the old face of ASOS Rogue Elite, but then came across and joined Crvena Zvezda, and this guy is still the same aggressive jungler that we saw back in like 2018, 2019 EU Masters. And as well, you're looking at guys like TasteLess who are on this roster, the support player who's kind of been around for quite a while over in the Balkans, but definitely a player that is so well known in that support role.
Yeah, absolutely. And Golden Toast as well. He's literally named himself after Toast. That's a mentality I can get behind. This is a real gamer on my screen right here. I'm excited to see what these guys are going to be able to do because, again, as we said, they like to be a bit aggressive. They like to get in their opponent's faces. So I'm curious to see if they can bring that. But they're up against the Prime League today. And, you know, Prime League, similarly to LFL, very hyped up coming into the EU Masters. And when we look at the roster for Eintracht Spandau, I feel like there's a lot of big names here. Once again, a lot of players that you need to be scared of coming into the match.
And a lot of people that have been around for quite a while with varying degrees of success on this lineup. Even though we're looking at Eintracht Spandau only just coming into the Prime League, we got Pride, who ended up winning with getting second place with Kynetic Rising. Obsess, who won the EU Masters in 2019. Special as well, who's been a guy who like had great success on like BTXL. Kynetic as well coming in alongside Prime in that bottom lane. Like, this is a stacked lineup.
Yeah, massive amounts of specifically playoffs experience in EU Masters, and that matters. Like, having done the best of fives, because, you know, we're in the best of one stage right now, but teams like this should be a favorite to move forward from this stage into our playoffs, and that's what we'll be really seeing these guys challenge. But today, I want to see a solid start, right? I want to see clean gameplay coming out from our Prime League representative. But I also just, I mean, personally, I just want to see chaos. Personally, I don't care if the game's clean. I want to see this team do well. I want to see them represent themselves well. But as a spectator, I just want to see madness.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie. When I see DoubleAiM in a game, I know we're going to get some madness. Like, one of the most aggressive junglers that I've seen at the Amazon EU Masters. I'm super excited to see him back again. And then I think a lot of that is going to be a case of, you know, how does DoubleAiM do against Obsess? Because a lot of the way Obsess likes to play is playing through that mid lane. And when you have that jungler who's going to be trying to like, okay, well, I need to try and keep DoubleAiM at bay while trying to help out my mid lane, that's going to be super interesting to watch.
All right, well, Dagda, we're heading towards our second game of the day already. So we have our EBL representative up against the Prime League. And it's going to start off with a Volibear ban. I feel like we've seen a lot of jungle bans so far in the store.
Yeah, I mean, jungle at the moment is just incredibly strong. Still things like the Hecarim, and even DoubleAiM as well, a big Zinzel fan, so might see that coming through as well. But Set going to be taken away as well from Pride in that top lane, and we'll have to see as this starts to go on, how things start to open up, because I think one of the cool things for Eintracht Spandau is, especially for Special, a very flexible player. We saw him like back when he was on BTXL being much more of a kind of, hey, I'm going to play things like the Galio and be the facilitator on my team. But now that he's come across Eintracht Spandau, it's actually been much more about him kind of being that carry performer, working with Obsess to set him up for success.
Yeah, absolutely. Working with Obsess to set him up for success. That's a hell of a sentence. I've got a rap god left of me. It's going to be the Karma band away. I feel like Karma so far being a highlight pick here in the Amazon EU Masters, but Seraphine as well could be banned away. So a lot of Enchanter supports. We saw a Yuumi ban in game number 1 as well. Feels like that's the focus in the support.
Okay, and we're going to get the Ahri first pick. I think Ahri has been exceptionally strong, like across regions. It doesn't matter if it's LPL, LEC, LCS, now in the Amazon EU Masters as well. It works wonders, but we'll have to see what the plan is to try and counteract this, right? Because as we saw in the last game, FLICKR stepping up to be a bit of an answer for this, but it's not exactly something that we've seen a huge amount. We haven't seen it all actually from Special this split, so I'm curious if he has that one in his back pocket, or if we just tend to go towards things like the Syndra and these kind of picks instead to kind of fight back against the Ahri.
So Xayah going to be locked in for Kynetic. This is something that has been kind of a side pick, right? It's always been the answer to the kind of Jinx and Felios meta across the last couple of months. And a Jarvan coming out from Obsess. I love the Jarvan. I feel like we don't see enough Jarvan at the minute because you can be so proactive and get those lanes ahead.
And the big thing is as well, it's like, hey, now I have something that's going to do pretty well against DoubleAiM. But DoubleAiM is hovering up on towards the Viego, and this is something that's banned against him a lot over in the Balkan region. So I'll have to see if he's going to be able to find this big carry performance, because that's something that DoubleAiM does bring. And also going to see now if you can get that like mid-jungle combo working off against each other, right? You've got the charm from the Ahri, you've got the follow-up on the Viego. It feels like you're pretty much getting everything you want here as Crvena Zvezda.
So Gonto's going to be on that Jinx, and instantly we get the LeBlanc locked in to answer the Ahri. Dagda, personally, this is my favorite mid lane matchup. It's so exciting. There's so much space for skill expression. There's so much space to outplay your opponent with that mobility. I feel like the Jarvan so good at influencing a matchup.
I mean, the biggest problem that you're going to have is like, oh, well, if you can like distort forward, get the chain, you set up for the Jarvan, it's going to be wonderful. And especially when you look at how Eintracht have played so many of their games, it's about playing around these solo laners, like moving up towards Pride in the top side as well. And you kind of have Kynetic like absorbing a lot of the lane pressure. He'll kind of rotate around the map to start taking towers, but the actual early pressure is going to be towards the LeBlanc and towards Pride when we eventually see what he wants to pick up for himself.
That Gwen banned out once more. We saw what Gwen could do game number 1 of today. And so Pride will have that denied from him up in the top lane. But Pride, surprisingly, across the course of this split, his most played champion is actually Renata, a pick that has really fallen out of fashion globally.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is for Pride, it's kind of like, hey, look, it's something that you can play towards, but also something that will do reasonably okay by itself, right? So, and not massively surprised to see it. And Pride as well, kind of a player that has been able to play both sides of the coin. If you want him to kind of sit there and do his own thing, he'll be fine. But if you want to start playing towards him, he can definitely set up your jungler for success. And it does definitely feel like Eintracht will be trying to have that performance, because against DoubleAiM, like, you know that he wants to try and get into your face, like play off the pressure from his mid lane and make sure that you're setting yourself up there to actually have these big moments with these quick skirmishes they can find.
Well, it's going to be Nah as well. 2 top lane bans towards Pride here. And now over to our Prime squad to see what they want to go for their 4th pick. Could just go for the support and have that counter pick for the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd be worried was if you're going to take the Ornn here, is a Camille answer on the other side. Like, you've got a really strong team fight here, potential from Eintracht, but I think Ornn doesn't quite fit the way that you're kind of looking at it here for Eintracht, because you've got the LeBlanc who's going to be coming in from the side, which is fine, but when you see things like the Xayah, you kind of want to be looking to more like single target burst damage, right? Because you want to get multiple feathers down and you kind of all tend to be in one area. But when you look at like what Crvena Zvezda are going to be playing, it's like flank from Viego, who's going to be threatening the backline. Same with the Ahri. So it's not like you're going to have one front to back style team fight when you look at what is on the opposite side.
It's going to be the Gragas. You'd assume up towards the top lane. Yeah, there's a reasonable chance to get support, but I'm not going to get too excited yet. Very likely going for Wondro up the top side, and a Rakan taken away. This is kind of, you know, it's good as an engage tool. It also denies the Xayah Rakan, right?
It's also TasteLess pick, right? Like, he loves the Rakan. It's the second most played, and he is a phenomenal Rakan player. So I'm excited to see him bring it out. We'll have to see what Prime is going to respond with. I honestly think this could be great as kind of like having another direction that you can kind of hold or keep people at bay, because you've got Ornn who's going to go one direction, you have Xayah who can kind of self-peel, but just having anyone who slips through the cracks from the front line of Eintracht now gets met with that hostile takeover. So I think from Eintracht, it's kind of like, hey, we keep ourselves busy and occupied on all kind of sides, making sure we're going to be all right.
Yeah, the handshake can be so oppressive for Rakan as well, right? It can be so difficult as Rakan. You go for the quickness, and then immediately you're just blocked, pushed away again. It can really, really ruin the lane for you. But I'm excited about the amount of early aggression we have on both sides, right? Jarvan versus Viego, aggressive junglers. LeBlanc versus Ahri, aggressive mid laners as well. Feel like there's so much opportunity for these guys to move into the side lanes and influence.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that I'm going to be looking for in the early stages, is like, how well can Obsess and Special like link up, especially pre-6. I feel like that's your best bet, because post-6, I mean, you're just going to be able to move around as much as you want with this Ahri. You're not really going to be under too much threat. So I definitely think you need to get the ball rolling early here as Eintracht, just in that mid-jungle. Otherwise, the Ahri can then link up later with the Viego. You can start to look for picks down towards the bot side of the map. But I think overall, looking at the composition that Crvena Zvezda has, I think it'd be interesting to see how they deal with the LeBlanc, right? Because you don't really have any real point-and-click CC. You've got the charm, sure, from the Rakan, but Gragas, you can always try and dodge away from. He's very telegraphed with the body slam. So I think if you can get Special rolling early here, he has the ability to take over this game.
Yeah, and it's exciting to see Special on a pick that he has a bit of proactivity on, right? Like, when you think back to Special historically, quite often ended up being more of a supportive mid laner, had to play for the rest of his team, but not today. We're getting to see him in an Ahri versus LeBlanc matchup. That's how you know you're going to be able to flex your wings just a little bit as we head on to Summoners Rift for our second game of the day. And I have to just quickly talk about a bit of history for these two teams, because for our EBL team, you know, this is the second time that they've made it into the group stage of EU Masters. Last time around, they fell out of groups without a single win. So for the Balkan region here, we're looking for a win. We're looking to get something on the board, and that'll be the greatest success for this org in the history of EU Masters.
And it's always good for the Balkans as well, because they are a region, like, talking to Xayah a few years ago, was talking about, like, the underdog mentality that they have, right? Yeah. They always want to come in and punch above their weight, and they have most certainly done it at times, and we'll have to see now if Crvena Zvezda can manage to kind of live up to that standard, because especially against the prime representative here, it's a good chance for them to show what they are capable of.
Yeah, and on the other side, speaking of that prime representative, Eintracht, this is a brand new org, right? They've played one split in their league and managed to get second place. Like, that's not a bad start, right? As a brand new organization, finishing second in your own league, now coming into their first ever Amazon EU Masters, we want to see some good stuff. Now, obviously, it's only the org that's new. Plenty of veterancy within this team, but I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to put onto the board in their first game of groups here. But Dagda, let's talk junglers. Let's talk pathing. Let's talk early game. Because we're actually seeing a leash. I feel like we never see leashes anymore, honestly. This feels almost rare to me.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? A huge amount of the way Crvena Zvezda plays is setting up for DoubleAiM, and it's why he's kind of been a bit of a star over in the Balkans League. So then he can actually make sure that you're going to have DoubleAiM, making sure that he's fine in the early stages. He's going to be able to look for these invades, trying to get in the face of Obsess, because if you end up in these like 3v3s or 2v2s, there's always the opportunity for DoubleAiM to try and outduel the Jarvan.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to quickly point out that the overlay is wrong. This is not a Polish team. This is Crvena Zvezda from the Balkan region. So the logo and the flag are wrong. We're working to fix those. But just to shore up any confusion from our audience here, is DoubleAiM starting to move down towards this bottom side of the map. But I'm looking at Special in that mid lane. I'm looking at this LeBlanc, and I want to see him impact the rest of the map.
Yeah, I'm also looking at this path from Obsess. Like, the fact that he's gone like to his like this bot side, he's gonna actually skip the blue. He's hit that fast level 3. This is the one you want to make happen when you're looking for these ganks, and Tsiperakos is already this low. Oh, this could be a dive.
Certainly could, but Obsess going for an invade instead while that mid lane is low. DoubleAiM has to flash already. Great aggressive play coming out from our German squad here. Looks like the rest of the team moving over. Kynetic and Prime making sure Obsess can secure this red buff for himself.
And this is just really smart play from Eintracht, right? Like, using the fact that Special actually has pressure in this mid lane. You've got the push on bot. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised to see Special getting that much control over in the mid lane. Like, as the Ahri, you tend to be fairly all right with trying to trade aggressively, using the Foxfire to try and push back, even having the Orb of Deception when you want to push this wave out. But Special has been doing a really good job thus far of trading up.
Yeah, done a really good job of finding those health advantages. But look at the map right now, just pushing all 3 lanes from our Prime League representative, Eintracht. And I'm excited to see how they can use that with Obsess already having an invade onto the red buff. I want to see more of that aggression. I want to see that consistently across the map here. And I want to see control of the objectives, right? Because we've got Drake coming up in a minute's time. Game number 1, we saw the Drake every single 5 minutes. It was just on cooldown. I'd love to see that again from our Prime League squad.
Yeah, and then look, I think this is kind of where we'll probably see them put a lot of their attention after you get that presence in the mid lane, right? Like, trying to work around this LeBlanc, but at the moment, Obsess just trying to find his own success realistically, right? Like, getting in. The fact he's gone for the Lethal Temple, though, is super interesting. Like, I haven't seen Lethal Temple Jarvan pretty much, honestly, ever. Because oftentimes you end up looking at something like the, you've seen like First Strike come out, you've seen like some of the more tanky runes come out, but even something like the Conqueror, if you really want to go for the likes of the why can't the Gore Drinker build? But Lethal Tempo is super interesting, giving you that extra range, giving you a bit of an extra attack damage. So, sorry, attack speed. We'll have to see how it plans out.
I'm ready for the Kraken Slayer. I'm ready to see it. Let's go full DPS Jarvan.
Oh no!
Yeah, I think
Jarvan.
I'm so ready for that. Lethality Jarvan is legit, but yeah. I will say I expect Obsess to be playing a little bit more seriously than we're suggesting, because you have to remember, Obsess, literal European Masters champion, right? Won it in 2019, and he's alongside a lot of other playoffs players across the history of Amazon EU Masters. As Obsess once again getting aggressive in the jungle, knows he has priority bot and mid, and so he'll go for these chickens.
Yeah, the thing is though, like, Jarvan getting ahead of CS is not like a major thing, right? Like, him having a bit of extra gold is, well, like, all well and good. The fact he's setting DoubleAiM behind is nice, but realistically, you can see DoubleAiM doing a nice job of just going, hey, look, I'm going to try and trade into the opposite side of the map, see if we can actually look for a split map, maybe look for the gank here and mid onto Special, but...
Gonna try and go for it. It's gonna be a chain coming out from Special, but he'll have to back away. Sees DoubleAiM, I think, on the top side. I think I saw a ping. Maybe didn't spot him, actually, as Special. Could be in trouble. Has flash available, might have to use it, but dodges the charm. And Special, no sweat whatsoever. Just wanders away through the jungle instead.
Even gives the thumbs up on his way out. So nice job from Special to absorb that pressure in these early stages. And even getting the ult out from the Ahri. We're just trying now use that ultimate as Tsiperakos to try and push that in. Make sure you're all good, but the cavalry's here.
Yeah, Tsiperakos in trouble here. The chain is going to land. Good flash from Special, and there's the follow-up. The first blood. Obsess making it happen, and now the handshake to find DoubleAiM as well. A double kill against DoubleAiM as Obsess takes over the early game.
Eintracht Spandau are working so well in this early stage. Obsess keeping DoubleAiM at bay, playing around this mid lane incredibly well, and just with Prime and Kynetic having that push on bot side, they get to reset, they come up mid, and get to make the play without even losing that much on the bottom half of the map. Really well orchestrated from the Prime squad. You'll even see it here, right? Keep your eyes on how long Special baits in DoubleAiM here. He sticks around on, hey, look, the Viego's going to try and go for this. He's going to see if he can try and get the kill, but manages to go back just in time, which actually means that DoubleAiM overextends, and that's why they can pick up the 2 quick kills here.
Not to mention, Special dropping another thumbs up for them. So, big mental edge.
8 PM, it's off the charts.
Special dropping the emotes. He's got a 10 CS lead, got that assist. I love the flash forward, right, to make sure that he gets the chain too. But we're looking at Obsess here. 2-0-0. Has a minor CS lead as well. Now he's looking towards this mid lane once more. Tsiperakos.
We're trying.
I'll try on the pronunciations, guys. I really will. He could be in trouble. Doesn't have that flash available. As DoubleAiM looks to maybe start this Drake off.
Yeah, be very surprised, especially when you still have like that much pressure from the mid lane. You've even got Obsess already with the bombing cinder. So no lethality Jarvan today, unfortunately. But
breaks my heart.
but at least having a good amount of control of the map. I just don't think you can go for this DoubleAiM. Even the fact that DoubleAiM has been like put behind, right, because of the amount of pressure Obsess has been able to put into the jungle, I think wasting your time at this stage on a dragon just is only going to put you further behind than when you want to be as a Viego. Like Viego in particular, a champion that really thrives when you're even to ahead because you're able to get those resets. You're able to steal away some of these big abilities.
Tsiperakos in trouble here. Special, good trade onto him. Can't finish off the kill, at least for now. Tsiperakos does have his ultimate available, so should Special try and finish this kill off, Tsiperakos should be able to back away. And will hold on to that ulti. I think Special was trying to force him there, right? Trying to get him to use the ulti, but doesn't happen. In the meantime, though, Obsess can start this Herald off.
Yeah, Obsess has been doing really well in these early stages. Now having Pride there just to try and help him out. And again, like it feels like this is a position that Eintracht can continue to punish through. Even if you don't want to so much like continue to play around mid lane, you can always have Special here who has thread onto the Ahri, shove that wave in, you group up as a 4-man unit into bot side. Like that's where you can really start to blow this game open as Eintracht.
Well, DoubleAiM is able to at least get the Drake for himself. So now a small advantage, at least in terms of Drakes, for Crvena Zvezda. Honestly, Crvena Zvezda's mid laner also being Tsiperakos. I'm struggling, man. This is not my forte.
I loved how you looked at this game and you just turned to me as like, I probably need to do a tweet about how I'm going to mess up all the names before I get into this game. But look, it's all right. You know, Crvena Zvezda, it was Tsiperakos. We'll get there. It'll be all good. But
yeah, do you know, I'm the kind of bloke that I go abroad and I'll have a little phrase book and I'll try my best to speak the language, but after a bit I'll sort of give up.
That's
and then I'll just
lie.
speak English slowly and loudly.
Yeah, because I lived with you in Shanghai. That's exactly what you did. Every time we'd have a delivery guy come to the door, it would just be Joe or Munch was on the phone going, yeah, look, I'm really sorry, mate. Sorry, I can't understand you either. It is terrible, but this is also not so terrible for Special, who's able to just hop himself back.
I feel like Special has been on the edge of danger this entire game. He's consistently on that blade's edge, being as aggressive as possible, trying to punish. But look at the lack of mana on this Ahri right now. This wave will be pushed in, but there is a blue buff, so at least he can return to the mid lane.
I have to say though, like looking at Eintracht Spandau, they play such a unique style of League of Legends where you obviously have Obsess playing towards the mid lane, but so often you see like Prime and Kynetic playing towards the mid lane as well, and Kynetic being kind of the standout one for me. Even when he was back on like Schalke 04, Kynetic was still like kind of, hey, I'm going to catch a wave and I'm going to rotate around the map, right? He'll be all over the place, making sure that he's the one threatening towers, and we're seeing it here on this team as well.
DoubleAiM trying to dash away, but the Cataclysm immediately answered. And now Tsiperakos, the one in trouble instead. There's the root coming out from Special. A little bit more damage and he'll do the job, but it's going to be the Spirit Rush to keep himself safe. Special, though, just layering the pressure in the mid lane. And look at the CS lead he's got off the back of it.
Yeah, I mean, this has just been so well orchestrated from Eintracht Spandau. And now you're kind of going, well, Crvena Zvezda, what do you do? How do you try and get back into this? And unfortunately, with Hellfire mid lane is behind, maybe it's bot.
Knock up onto Kynetic, but no real follow-up here. This is one of the issues of having a Jinx in the early game, right? You don't really have that much kill threat in the lane. It's DoubleAiM once again being aggressed upon by Obsess. I am loving watching Obsess on Jarvan this game. He is just consistently putting his foot forward.
I think it also shows that Eintracht has done their homework, right? Like, DoubleAiM is the main threat for Crvena Zvezda in the early stages, and so much of the team revolves around him. We even saw, as you said, like, Wondro giving that early leash to DoubleAiM so he can get off the back quick, but it didn't matter. Obsess still gets into his jungle, still gets into his face, and now Viego and the mid are behind.
Oh, good little trade coming out from Tsiperakos, but he was baited and forced to flash away from the second chains. Now Herald in the mid lane as well. Special will be able to get a whole chunk of gold off the back of this one. A charm comes through though onto Obsess. Maybe Tsiperakos can set this one up. Rocket comes flying, but Special able to dodge it. That's 3 plates though in the mid lane, so yes, low HP bars, but no flashes used, just the Herald.
Yeah, but you're still looking at like a 20 CS lead as well there for Special. Like, and remember what we talked about at Champs League. There's not many things that can really deal with this LeBlanc.
Yeah, already as well, Obsess finishing his turbo chem tank, right? Like, this is a big jungler right now, way ahead of the curve in terms of the whole game. Pride actually doing a good job already having his Frozen Fist because he doesn't have to reset to buy it. You can keep buying during the laning phase. I think people often forget that about the Ornn. Yes, you can upgrade your allies' items. You can also just build yourself items endlessly. It's one of the reasons he's such a good weak side top, because you can just stick around forever.
And what we oftentimes see the early tier as well, like Fimbulwinter was just such a big boost to Ornn because now you actually have a mana item that can help you deal with, or sorry, allow you to be this major tank in a side lane without having to reset all the time, so then you can actually have some mana in your kit. But we'll have to see, because honestly, right now, like, we haven't really had much in the way of like massive skirmishes or fights, right? It's been very much about bullying Tsiperakos in this mid lane, and Eintracht now is starting to move that pressure into the bot side, trying to set up vision control, especially with this second dragon about to come up soon. Like, it just feels like we're on an edge here of a major fighter skirmish.
Look at this, Obsess and Prime waiting in the brush. And TasteLess is going to be the one that has to face check here. He's going to get a ward over the wall, though. Nice presence of mind. Does spot them out, but Obsess at least will be able to get the red buff. As you say, Dragon up in 20 seconds. The overlay having a bit of a hard time so far. It is the first Drake that went over to our blue team here. Crvena Zvezda able to start things off with that first Drake. So even though it's not on the overlay, they do have one Drake on their side. So if Eintracht were able to get this Drake, they would be evening things up.
They've already moved Wondro down, though. Maybe they can make a quick pick before everything kicks off, but they have to be so careful. Like, they don't have deep vision to spot out where Special's coming from, potential flank opportunities, and they're not really being given the opportunity to actually find that play. So instead, Pride will continue to push in. Top side, Wondro probably needs to actually like TP up to that top wave, or he's going to lose out a pretty significant amount of CS.
So Crvena Zvezda, though, able to get 2 Drakes back-to-back. It's a nice start for them. At least there's a benefit there. And it will be a Cloud Soul, which, you know, not the most impactful soul necessarily, but you do have a lot of ultis on the side of Crvena that can be used really effectively with the Cloud Soul. The Ahri, the Viego, that you get the resets, but also just Rakan gets a huge benefit.
TasteLess looking.
TasteLess not finding.
No. Came up empty-handed, but again, this is kind of the presence that you see with TasteLess on the Rakan, right? Always trying to see if you can fish for these plays. So good at finding these cheeky engages, like playing off of vision. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to manage it this time, because it does feel like if you can set up properly, right, where you've got this Jinx in a good spot, you've got DoubleAiM who can try and take over, get these resets and fights. Maybe in the later portion of the game, Crvena Zvezda can find that, but it just feels at the moment like this game is so heavily in favor of Eintracht. Despite the gold lead, they just have so much control of the map.
Yeah, managing to have a bit of a gold lead for themselves, having complete control of the map. And now with the second Herald as well. Remember, they dropped the first Herald in that mid lane, got special a bunch of plate gold, but also crucially softened that tower up. So you can just slam a second Herald and open the map.
And that's what Eintracht do so often, right? Is where you go, okay, cool, we have moved Kynetic and Prime into the mid lane. We're going to push in mid and then start to rotate Kynetic and Prime around the map. And this is what I was talking about, with like a pretty unique style that Eintracht Spandau play. It's about like using Kynetic as this like nearly another support or another jungler that's roaming around the map and making plays happen and catching you out with these numbered advantage plays in favor of Eintracht Spandau.
See if they're going to be able to find any of those plays. It's been a slow game so far. This is like the polar opposite of what we had in game number one. Game number one, absolute bagger, absolute bloodbath, absolute barn burner.
This is the bell curve, you know? We have to.
All of the Bs so far, all of the Bs. But now we see a much more slow, controlled pace of game from our Prime League representative. Remember, this is the second seed from the Prime League after their first split in the tournament. Feels good to see them here representing after, you know, a brand new organization coming out, actually started by the YouTuber Hand of Blood as well. Feels, it must be great for him, right? Seeing them making it to the Amazon EU Masters after their first split.
I was going to say, when your organizer's name is, or sorry, your organization owner name is called Hands of Blood and you get this pace of game, it feels a bit ironic. But I mean, yeah, I mean, the first time they come in, but look at, again, like these aren't like new players to EU Masters, right? Like you already kind of talked about like Obsess, who'd already won with Misfits Premier back in the day, playing like with Leader in that mid lane and playing heavy red Leader. You look at Special as well, who'd made 2 playoffs. You have Pride, who just this last split of EU Masters, or the Amazon EU Masters, was second place with Fnatic Rising. So, I mean, you have a ton. Sorry, I'm getting a bit concerned here for Crvena Zvezda as I'm talking. I'm like, I probably need to shut up because the thing is, Spandau really want it.
We've not actually seen the action happening, but they're toying with the idea, right? And we're conditioned by the LPL that when players see each other, they just go. So always a little tentative on that one. Herald actually going to be used in this bottom lane. We said it was going to go mid, but actually deciding that they could finish this one off for Kynetic. And Kynetic looks like he might move up to that mid lane instead, or actually he's going to stick around at the bottom side of the map. Special's just going to push out.
Yeah, I actually thought that they were going to like rotate up, but I mean, the tower isn't particularly healthy anyway. You've also got Pride, who has managed to roam down, so maybe looking for something. But the biggest problem that I'm seeing for, Eintracht right now is just the lack of dragons that they have apart from, and like, yes, you've got Rift Heralds, which is great, but like only having the 1 tower down, now you've kind of got to fight Crvena Zvezda at the dragons, or Crvena Zvezda, which what I prefer to see them do is, look, we're just going to ignore the next 2 dragons, right? We're going to go and like make a play on top side, make sure we can get the tower.
Bit of damage out from Special, but it's a good trade back, honestly. But again, another wave pushed in, another bit of a CS advantage coming out from Special. Look at that, 30 CS up in that mid lane and finished his Ludens as well. He starts to try and impact the rest of the map now, moving towards that bottom side. Drake going to be coming up in 40 seconds though, Dagda. It's 2 in favor of Crvena right now, even though the overlay only says 1, even though the flag and the logo, not accurate. This is a Balkan team called Crvena Zvezda. It's not Ago Rogue. I do apologize about the overlay, but they have 2 Drakes so far is the point I'm trying to make. And Eintracht don't want them to keep stacking.
You've got the TP from Tsiperakos down towards that bot lane. Wanted to make sure he could push in that wave. Potentially look for a flank, but he's now going to be matched from Special, so he backs off. And Eintracht right now have full control over this river. So for them, they're kind of chilling. And Crvena Zvezda want to see if they can make something happen here with Wondro having come down.
Drake now onto the map. Here we go. Crvena trying to get control of their side of the river. Trying to remove some of that deep vision that we've seen this Prime team finding for themselves. DoubleAiM going forward, but Special gonna whiff on the chains. Both teams a little nervous to go for it. Obsess misses the EQ, so he can't actually commit, and it means Pride's in trouble. Instead, Fellow's breath just to keep himself safe, but forced to flash away. This feels not as clean as we would like from Eintracht.
I think they're just trying to, oh, there we go though, Charm lands, but I think they're just trying to set up, get those flanks.
Okay, I take it back. It's pretty clean. There's an Ornn coming on through. Quickness onto the whole squad, but there goes TasteLess. Eradicated, smashed into the floor. And now a knock-up from Pride as well. The rest of the team jumps forward. Wondro forced to flash away. Look at this, just death ball coming out from our German squad.
And this is what we're talking about, right? Like, you're trying to take it slow here, give Special the room that he needs to find the flank opportunity. He gets the chain, and it's literally the go button for Pride, making sure there's nowhere that Crvena Zvezda can escape to. And now, it'll be first Dragon going across to Eintracht Spandau. They get control of the map. Crvena Zvezda, though, are moving up into this top side, trying to see if they can quickly overload this and maybe get a tower back for themselves. Or a red buff.
or a red buff. Well, it's better than nothing. DoubleAiM, honestly, he'll be happy with that because Obsess has taken 2-3 of his red buffs so far. That might be the second red buff he's had all game.
But you can see, though, this is kind of how you control Crvena Zvezda, right? Like, get into the face of the jungler early, make sure that you're not able to actually, like, have the early impact that you want, find those skirmishes that you want, and Special has been having a field day in this mid lane all along. And look, Pride just managing to escape away from the charm. There, DoubleAiM gets locked up by the chains from Special, and that's the go button for Eintracht. Really good job of just using this death ball, as you pointed out, making sure DoubleAiM can't get in. Kynetic's got the self peeled with the Feather Storm. Yeah. It's so hard to threaten back onto Eintracht when they're in the lead like this.
And it's worth mentioning as well that, you know, Crvena, these guys are the underdogs. They know they're the underdogs coming in. Yeah. This is a team from the Balkan region. They've played in groups before, but didn't manage to get a win on the board. So getting a win in the Amazon EU Masters group is already a big achievement for this squad. I would love to see it, though, against the Prime League, right? Imagine how big of a statement that would be. Coming into the tournament, winning your first game against a big-name team like Eintracht as well. That would be so huge, but it's still a long way away from them. 3,000 gold down right now. Baron is on the map, and Eintracht are just like, you know what? Time to get some vision control and threaten the idea of the purple worm.
There is only a 3,000 gold lead, though, and the biggest problem is, like, looking at Golden Toast, only got 2, or hasn't even got a second item completed, so he's not really in position. So Crvena, though, looking.
Oh no, Wondro wants to make the play, but just hand shook away, knocked up, and Kynetic gets some feathers through him as well. They don't tickle, let me tell you that. Right, nice little cue from Prime there.
Yeah, really nice job to just escape away from that. Prime just doing so well with the handshake, but again, like, Crvena Zvezda invested so much for that TP into the top side to try and make the play work. They were hoping that maybe they could make that pick happen, they could take their turn at Baron, but it's just not happening. And again, you're kind of seeing, look, only the item and a half for Golden Toast. The Void Staff not completed for the Ahri yet either. Even DoubleAiM as well, still a long way away from the Death Stance, so you don't really have the tools right now to fight against Eintracht. And even Obsess going for the cheeky Zhonya's Hourglass as well, which is, it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, Zhonya's Jarvan. I feel like it's like when we saw the Jarvan support for a while alongside Kindred, right? It was always Zhonya's first item. And I mean, this is a lethal tempo Jarvan anyway, so at this point, I'm down for whatever. Obsess is clearly in charge of this game, so I'm just along for the ride as a viewer here.
It's something that you get to do where you kind of want to finish early in the big game. And definitely, like, looking at Eintracht, they're kind of looking to end in the next, say, 6 to 7 minutes. And you don't end up running out of, you don't need as many tanky stats when you get into this mid-game position as versus like a late game. So this is kind of going, hey, look, I'm going all in on this mid-game. I can go hyper-aggressive, have the Zhonya's there to keep myself safe and make sure I'm going to be fine. Because I think rightfully so, Eintracht are kind of going, hey, look, LeBlanc, this Xayah, going to get outscaled quite a bit in the later portion. So let's just play for the mid-game and power through the strong point that we have in the game right now.
Yeah, and it feels good to see this, like, this controlled, smart gameplay coming out as I say that, they're going to start the Baron off, and I like it. Honestly, I like it. This still is within that remit of smart gameplay because they have complete vision control. It's pure darkness here for Crvena, and I'm not even sure that they're aware right now. Finally, TasteLess is going to move over, try and get vision. There's a blue trinket, but looks like the commit is just going to come on through. It's not even a 50-50. It's just going to be Obsessed. Might this one away. The rocket too late, and now DoubleAiM forced out of the fight already. Special in trouble, has to back away. But it's just damage after damage onto TasteLess and Crvena. They want to contest, they want to push in, but they just can't.
But even the target selection there from Eintracht was just so good, right? They forced DoubleAiM out of the equation. You've got Rakan, who jumps into the back line, but everyone on Eintracht turns onto TasteLess instantly, make sure he's taken out. It's so well orchestrated, and kind of communication from Eintracht is really good when we get into these fights.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful so far. And, you know, credit to N-Rated as well, the coach of this team. N-Rated, a player that I think a lot of viewers will know.
I don't know.
I think people might not.
It's been a while.
Like,
yeah.
N-Rated, for anyone that doesn't know.
We're boomers. You forget we're old, man.
Yeah, if my memory serves, and I am a boomer. This guy was on SK Gaming for a very long time, was in the EULCS. Back when it was the EULCS, right? It's a long time since he's been a professional player, but clearly doing a good job from that coaching position here on Eintracht Spandau, because this is a clearly regimented team that we're witnessing.
I mean, you can see it here, right? Again, already set up for the Dragon, trying to see if they can move through. And you've got Special push inside.
Oh, it's a knockback onto Obsess, but he dashes back towards the rest of his team. Beautifully done here. And now damage onto Wondro. He's tanky, but not tanky enough. Forced to flash now. It's TasteLess on the flank. Can he get the quickness? Can he find the engage his team needs? There's a split push from Special on the other side. Featherstorm comes on through. Can they survive? TasteLess getting onto the AD carry. Obsess takes a kill. 4v5. Eintracht are managing to make this happen. DoubleAiM forced away on this one. Prime now trying to keep his teammates alive. Obsess 1 HP, but dashes out to safety. And here comes Special to clean things up. Special over the wall. Now jumps up the back line. Forces the flash. Forces Tasteless away. Wondro moving forwards, but can't find the CC. Prime dashes away. It's the longest fight I've ever seen. And only one casualty until Special looks for more.
Special gets a second. They may look for the third. TasteLess needs to get away.
TasteLess trying to dash off to his teammate. DoubleAiM gets the grab, but here comes Obsess again. He's managed to get some health back somehow. DoubleAiM, no smite available, but neither does Obsess.
Special base plants into the wall. We'll call it quits there, all right? But as you can see, the bot lane inhibitor about to go down. You will have the Ahri there just to clear it out.
Oh,
it goes. It's gone, yeah. So Dragon, inhibitor, the fight, everything there for Eintracht, who were just able to play so long and so effectively in the 4v5.
And we're getting to the point, Dagda, where, like, aside from the early 2 Drakes, this game is near perfect from Eintracht right here. Like, this is an incredible performance. 6-0 in terms of the kills. Almost 10,000 gold, 8,000 in their favor right now. Another Drake there. It's feeling real good to be a fan of the Prime League right now.
But that's the thing, right? Like, when we're talking about N-Rated already, like the coach for Eintracht, like, you can clearly see these guys have done their homework, and they are well aware of what's going to be expected from the teams in their group, because they're playing against DoubleAiM. They've shut them down. They're willing to play for team fights, which Crvena Zvezda don't play a huge amount. They're much more about these like skirmishes and spread out fights where they're looking for invades in the jungle. It's all come through very, very well prepared, and you can see the cogs are turning as it was already laid out before they even got into the game.
Now, for anyone that's just tuning in, that's missed what's been happening so far in this game, as you can see, Eintracht Spandau with a big lead in terms of goal, but also 2 Drakes on the board. I believe 2 Cloud Drakes for the side of Eintracht. On the other side, Crvena Zvezda managing to get the first 2 Drakes, but haven't had one in a little while. And now we see Pride and Kynetic up in this top side, setting up a slow push, trying to pressure onto the tier 2. This will be the last tier 2 of the game, but look at the super minions in that bottom lane. Big slow push building. It's going to do damage and Special. Almost one-shots Golden Toast.
I mean, he's just out of the equation now, right? Eintracht get the push in here. They should be able to get some damage to the tower. As you got to go back to base as this Jinx. Special, though, not really here just yet as minions on the bot side. Thank you, observers, for showing that. Here we go.
Be Pride just using the Bellows Breath to survive, but a couple of knockups there. No real follow-up, though. Pride still more than half of his HP remaining. And now a TP as Special's gone for the reset, TPing into the mid lane. Charmed, but gets away with the distortion just in time. More supers coming in the bottom side. Not the most coordinated siege I've ever seen here from Eintracht, but still managing to find advantages. The supers pushing in the bottom side. Now starting to chunk these towers as the call of the Forge God comes through. Golden Toast protected by DoubleAiM, but Special basically 2v1ing on the side of the fight. Obsess gets charmed, bit of damage coming back, but it's not enough. Tsiperakos, the first one to go down. There's the knock-up. DoubleAiM falls though. The resets can't happen if Viego's the one to fall. And Eintracht continue this slow, methodical destruction. Wondro the next target, rooted by the feathers, knocked up CC forever. And now to the mid lane they go.
And now for the base they go. The Nexus in their eyes. Special looks for TasteLess, but won't be able to find them.
And Golden Toast is on this Jinx, the late game carry, but he just can't get anything done. It's too much to deal with from the side of Eintracht Spandau as they'll take down their next passes in immaculate fashion.
And just like that, the Prime League gets one on the board. Eintracht Spandau able to take down the Balkan representative and in a dominant fashion. I mean, from start to finish, Obsess constantly working off Obsess's presence in the mid lane. You're moving around the bot lane on Eintracht Spandau as well to make sure that you're able to get yourself in a position where you're just finding these quick picks, these quick kills, and like slowly skirting that vision further into the jungle and just controlling the game from start to finish.
Yeah, and you know, Crvena Zvezda, we did see some moments where it felt like fights were going to go their way. And that's the thing. That was what was really painful, is you saw this composition with an Ahri and a Viego. They need to find that first kill of the fight, and then they pop off. Then they take over. But then you're playing against this immaculate powerhouse squad that won't let anyone die ever. When you can't find that first kill, you can't snowball, you can't take over the fight, and it just felt just not quite enough.
Yeah, and I think it just, well, it kind of fell apart from the early stages, right? When you're not able to get yourself right as this Viego, like you start to fall behind as Viego, you feel very useless. And we'll have to see like if that's going to be a kind of a pervasive story now, because when you look at like what DoubleAiM has played back in his home region, the Viego was such a big pick for him. So I think if teams are going to come in prepared like we just saw, Crvena Zvezda, they need to come up with some other magic.
They're certainly going to have to come up with something. They need to get a win on the board. But it's only game number 1 of their Amazon EU Masters run. Plenty of time ahead of them. But a fantastic performance from our Prime League representative, our second seed. We're going to jump into a break, though. But then following our break, we go into our third game of the day. It's Team BDS Academy up against Team Eska. And this one is looking to be a doozy. Do not touch that browser.